On Sunday, December 9th of 2012, the Cleveland Plain Dealer reader representative complains about feedback. Hi, Ted! Remember me?
Average Dude has something to say about...
Yes, everybody. Episode 43 here. Cleveland Plain Dealer reader representative complains about feedback. Welcome back to my show, Ted Diadiun and the Cleveland Plain Dealer. I dealt with Teddy and the Cleveland Plain Dealer back in episode 7 when it came to a situation, back in August. The Nathan Summerfield manhunt murdered his girlfriend. I mean, this situation involved the U.S. Marshals, the police, and the FBI looking for him in Ohio, and the Cleveland Plain Dealer did not feel it necessary to do the story, but that wasn't the worst part. Ted, tired of all the complaints on behalf of the Plain Dealer, wrote the most disgusting article I have ever read. Editorial or otherwise, I have been reading news articles from journalists for so long, ever since I was, 19. I mean, long time. I've never seen one this disrespectful, because he was blaming the victim, the woman who was murdered. He missing white woman syndrome. Yeah, he brought up race, and you'll quote, "She did not become a media star. Perhaps the drama did not last long enough." He's talking about a woman who was murdered. Absolutely sick and disrespectful as hell. And boy, did he get a whiplash on it. 90 plus comments, none of them on the Plain Dealer side. And then, after I did episode 7, if you'll take a look, the link's down below on this one, there were a couple comments that were in defense. Oh, you don't understand the task of an ombudsman. Oh, I understand what the task is. And he failed at that, too. You don't do that for that role. You do not brass off your readers like that. You do not do that to a family that lost a loved one to murder. I said that before, and I can pretty much guarantee you that those couple comments that came at the tail end were from someone from the Plain Dealer. I looked at those username, those entries. It looks like they were created specifically just to respond to that article alone. That tells me something. It tells me that it wasn't a regular reader user commenting on one article to the next, to the next, to the next. How much you want to make a bet that that was from the Plain Dealer? Buttholes. Absolutely. I'm tired of hearing about the Cleveland Plain Dealer's journalistic integrity. Ever since that episode, people have been bringing to my attention on here, the journalistic integrity. You need to know about this, about the politics behind the paper. I don't want to know about them. I don't need to know about them. I'm tired of politics as it is. I deal with it all the time. I don't want to deal with the politics of the Plain Dealer. I see that it is obvious they have them, and they have been bought to a degree, or at least certain people in power. I'll leave it at that. Good heaven's sakes. So lately, since then, I've been holding off, but then somebody brought to my attention that Ted complained about viewer comments. This past Sunday, his on the Plain Dealer's website, take a look at the Plain Dealer's website, it says, quote, "Reader Representative Ted Diadiun fields your complaints and compliments." He does? No, he doesn't. Take a look. Yeah, just this past Sunday, his article called "Decorum in Online Comments" from Ted Diadiun, Teddy Boy. He complains about the user comments and explains why the ban hammer, in other words, strike the comment, and in fact close and disable comments. Don't get me wrong. He, just like the last time, he had a potential good idea. Some stories do get covered other than others, but he was ridiculously disrespectful in how he handled it. He needed to be fired for that, and he wasn't, and I'll go over why later. And once again, he does have a point. Users are ridiculous with their comments, but that is not why these comments are being removed, and he knows it, and the Plain Dealer knows it, and the people who read it know it. They can't handle criticism. because on all of these pages I see nothing but criticism from the readers of The Plain Dealer. They rip it to shreds. They do so much more than I've done up to this point and will do by the end of this episode. I mean, good heavens sakes. In that article, he's quoting online editor John Kroll of The Plain Dealer, and apparently someone who does have some integrity. There have to be some that do, but he's basically, Ted Diadiun is quoting John Kroll on how he deals with situations. Quote, "With terrible stories like the death of a 3-year-old boy in which his mother is implicated," that just happened in Cleveland not that long ago, the mother threw her in the dumpster, a toddler, "you have to think about who is coming to read these stories," said Kroll. Couldn't agree more. Quote, "Anything that involves death, small children, sexual abuse, I have a fairly low threshold on abusive comments. I try to balance it with people who want to have a serious discussion about serious issues, but I really try to put myself in the shoes of the people who are connected with the story." I agree. Great. Ted does not do this himself. Remember the Summerfield situation? Those comments about wasn't a media star? She was, what god-awful drag. Talk about disrespect. Try harder next time. Wow, he is crap. He's quoting John Kroll of The Plain Dealer, who has ethics, and Ted Diadiun has none. Ted does not do this. 2 motherless children, 1 toddler, 1 autistic, and The Plain Dealer bans reader comments, but not Ted's bullshit comments? Screw you, Ted, and the crap from Ted continues. This is not the first time that Ted has done this and had such a disrespectful article on a murder-death situation, a horrible story. He had an article February 20th of 2010. He was talking about you have to pay to access the older archive stories on Cleveland.com. Quote, "We can't go back into the archives and change what appeared in the paper." You sure about that, Ted? And there's a reason why. This one that I'm about to talk about was archived. Ted Diadiun on May 20th of 2007, he was talking about why The Plain Dealer didn't do a story on the Shannon Christian and Christopher Newsom murders, and this was nasty. But this couple both were repeatedly gang raped and murdered. He was burned, and her body was in the trash can. And The Plain Dealer was given so much grief over not covering that one. And Ted explains why not, and this is going to sound very familiar. Ashland, when it came to the Summerfield situation, he's done this before. Listen to this, quote, "It is wrong-headed and divisive to make race the central issue here. And yet Ted allows both race and sex to be an issue with the Nate Summerfield missing white woman excuse. 5 years later, 180-degree turn. Nice going, Ted. Good thing that there were people that managed to copy pretty much your entire article that day that has been archived that you have to pay for. I'm not paying for that. And if I only found this in one place, I wouldn't have talked about it. But no, there's multiples. And down below, they're all over the place. People are so ticked with Ted that they are taking his articles and making sure that they just don't go bye-bye. They're not buying, apparently, that, those articles will never, quote, change or drop. Yeah, I'm guessing that The Plain Dealer will do whatever's in The Plain Dealer's best interest. Ugh.